here we are along the historic downtown waterfront in Sturgeon Bay. We're outside the Door County Maritime Museum, where today we're going to get a tour of their huge floating exhibit. Good sir, here's my boarding pass that I got inside. How are you doing today?
Oh, not too bad. Welcome aboard to Jon Purves.
Thank you, it's great to be here. This is Bob Perlowitz. He's going to be our docent for our tour today. Bob, word on the street says you spent a little time aboard this vessel.
Yes, we spent 5.5 years in the restoration of the tug, a number of local people, and I spent 23 years on here as engineer.
So Bob, the typical tour that you take people on, that's what we're going to do today. What usually does that consist of?
Well, we'll start in the winch room, and then we'll head down into the engine room and up into the upper engine room and the chief engineer's room, and from there it goes up into the galley and the pilot house, and we'll blow the whistle and the tour is over.
Well, fantastic. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm all ready to go check this thing out. What do you say?
Yeah, that's good.
All right, off we go.
The Tug John Purves was donated to the Maritime Museum by the Andrew Corporation in Muskegon, Michigan in 2003. A number of volunteers worked to bring it back to the way it was in 1957 when the tug was repowered from steam to diesel. This is the winch, and it's powered by this huge electric motor, and there's 2,000 feet of 2-inch steel cable on there, and it's very expensive. And we have some marks on the chart here that shows you the different lengths of tow line that we would use on different lakes and the rivers. These are some shackles that would be used for towing, large vessels, like I said, a steamboat or a saltwater ship, and then you'd work with 2 bridles that would go to the boat that you were towing.
Next, we headed down to the engine room, and I was, well, let's just say a little bit shocked at how enormous it seemed. Holy cow, this is huge down here. Wow. So what are we looking at here, Bob?
This is a control stand. This is where the operator would stand, or the engineer, and operate the engines.
Bob told me all about how the captain would signal down to the engine room, how the engines were operated, and how loud it would be down here when the 2 1,200 horsepower engines were running.
It would get so noisy down here with the engines running at full speed. The only way you could converse with anybody was with the chalkboard, and you had to write it down.
Next, Bob led the way towards the back of the engine room and the switchboard, where he told me all about the restoration process and what all the switches controlled on the boat.
These are the fuel gauges. Every tank has got a separate fuel gauge, and you can see we have a number of different gauges, and we carry over 50,000 gallons of fuel.
After a brief stop in the upper engine room, we headed up to check out the chief engineer's quarters.
Yeah, this is the chief engineer's quarters. This is one of the nicer rooms on the boat. It was pretty noisy back here with the engines running and everything. This was my room for a number of years, and it brings back a lot of memories.
Next, it was off to the galley, where I got to see several historical photos of the boat, and Bob talked about its fascinating history since it was first built as a steam tug in 1919. The pilot house was our last stop on the tour, and Bob talked about several items here, including the ship's wheel, the ship's telegraph, the chart table, and how they refinished everything in the pilot house to look like it would have back in the 1950s. I even got to toot the ship's horn. Woohoo!
Hey, that was pretty good.
Not bad for a rookie.
I signed the guest book, and our tour was finished.
The Tug is open for tours on a daily basis during the warmer months of the year and a little bit more seasonal in the winter time, but probably the best way to call the Maritime Museum to get specific times, huh, Bob?
That's right, yes.
It's located right outside the Door County Maritime Museum along the historic Sturgeon Bay waterfront. So until next time, we'll see ya.